Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. So I'm sure that you are all set for XAT 2025, the first examination of the calendar year 2025. And XAT, if we talk about it, has a special marking scheme, and a lot of students are confused at how the scoring is done after that unattempted question. So watch this video to understand how will you get the score if you leave more than 8 questions in the examination. Okay, and there is a debate also: should you leave questions, should you attempt questions? So we shall discuss all such things in this video. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media platforms. Now, if you talk about the marking scheme of XAT, there is 1 mark per question. So if the paper has 75 questions, it is of 75 marks. Now there is, for every incorrect answer, 0.25 marks are deducted. Now how does this work is, you must have attempted your CAT, right? So CAT had +3 and -1. Why do they have this marking scheme is, so, and you've noticed that in CAT there are 4 options. So when you have 4 options, suppose you randomly mark the answer. Okay, so if you randomly mark 4 answers A, B, C, D, you have 1/4 probability of getting it right. Okay, so let us say in 4 questions you get one correct. Okay, so 1/4 probability of getting correct is 1/4. So you get one correct and three incorrect. Your overall score should be 0. So for correct they give you 3 marks, for incorrect they give you -1, so that you get 3 minus 3, that is 0 marks. So the scoring is done in such a manner that if you randomly attempt the paper, you should end up at 0. Now in XAT, this was CAT. Now XAT has 5 options: A, B, C, D, E. Now if you mark randomly, you have 1/5 probability of getting correct. Suppose you get one correct and four incorrect. Okay, so ideally you should get 1 marks for correct and 4 marks for incorrect. That is one. That will end up in 0. So to make the numbers even, right? If one statistically attempts all questions and gets a fair distribution, fair probability, then they will end up in 0. So for that purpose, they have this marking scheme. Not to worry about that. The thing to concern here is that if you attempt, do not attempt more than 67 questions. If you do not reach the mark of 67 out of 75, if there are more than 8 unattempted questions, there is minus zero point 0.1 also deducted. Now, how is this deducted? How will it impact scores across the different sections? Let us see this. And another thing to notice that there is no negative marking in the general knowledge section, and it is not counted in the your final score as well, right? So like the percentile is not counted using GK. So GK you will get percentile, but overall percentile in XAT that you get is because of the other 3 sections. So this is important thing to note. Now let us take some student who attempts more than 67 questions. Okay, so if a person has attempted, let's say, 70 questions, then normally the marking will take place. For every correct, you will get +1. For incorrect, you will get 0.25. So 13 correct and 9 incorrect means minus 2.25. That will be 10.75. Minus 1.5 is 12.5. Minus 1 is 23. So normally the scoring will happen as it would happen +1 minus 0.25, which happens in some other exams also. So this is the score that you will see, final score. So no such big deal in that, you can easily calculate it. But if you have attempted less than 67 questions, okay, now if you have attempted less than 67 questions, let us say you attempted a total of 60 questions, 46 correct and 14 incorrect. Okay, now this would have been your raw score without that negative thing come into place. Now what happened is, you attempted 60 questions, you had to attempt 67, right, to avoid that zero point 0.1 extra marks. So there are 7 extra questions. So in these 7 questions you will lose 0.1 marks. So there is 7 extra question and minus 0.7 will happen. and this minus 0.7. So your raw score, which should have been 42.5, it will be minus 0.7, that will be 41.8. Now that is not the concern. The concern is section wise what will be the scoring. Now this zero point 0.7 is not dependent on, like, see, first of all, the number of attempts, it is in the entire paper. It is not that if you attempt skip 8 questions in VALR or DM or QADI, it is across the entire paper. Okay, so not section wise, but negative marking will be in all sections and it will be distributed in the ratio of the number of questions. So it is important to understand how this happens. Now zero point 0.7 has happened. VALR has like 26 questions. So what will happen is 26 out of 75 are VALR. So minus zero point 0.7 will be distributed in 26 upon 75. So you will lose 0.24 marks in that section. So minus, they take up to 2 decimal places and hence will give the score as 11.01. Now, if you talk about DM, DM has 21 questions. So, minus zero point 0.7 into 21 by 75. So, the number of marks, the deduction will be the maximum in quant and will be the least in DM. So, if you round it off, it will be 0.20. So, in DM, your score will become 11.8. And in quant, you will lose zero point 0.7 into 28 by 75, which is 0.26. So you will lose 0.26 marks and that your score will be 18.99. Now some students think that if I leave less questions in quant, my score will be high. No, it is independent of the section. So it is depending on the number of questions that section has. So overall deduction multiplied by the ratio in which the questions are present in the sections. So quant will have the maximum deduction. So if you leave 20 questions, 30 questions, I mean, people leave way many questions, right? This I am taking considering a very good student who has attempted 60 questions. 60 questions attempt is not a joke, right? And in this score, you would probably get 99.9 percentile. Just telling that how does this scoring happens. So suppose you skipped 30 questions. Let us say you attempted just 37 questions, right? आपने 37 attempt की. So in 37 attempt, that means there will be minus 3 because ideal attempt is 67 minus 37, 30 extra. Now in these 30 extra questions, you will lose minus 3. Now this minus 3 in VALR will be minus 3 into 26 by 75, which will be minus 1.04. So whatever was your score, you will lose 1.04 here. In DM, it will be, DM you will lose 21 by 75, so which is 0.84, and in QA you will lose 1.88 minus 1.12, that will be the negative. So it means that no matter how many questions you leave, the biggest impact is going to be on QA, the least impact is going to be on DM. Okay, so this is in the proportion of the number of questions. So this is how the score is calculated. Now the question comes that should you mark flukes in the examination to avoid this negative marking? Okay, so we were discussing about the statistics. So I said that if you have 1 at minus 0.25 scheme, so if you have, let's say if you mark 5 questions A, B, C, D, E randomly and get 1 correct and 4 incorrect, so you will end up scoring 1 minus 1, that is 0 marks. Now consider this scenario that you are leaving more questions. So you have 1 for correct but minus 0.35 for incorrect. Okay. Now if you randomly mark 5 questions A, B, C, D, E and get one of these correct and 4 incorrect, your net score will be 1 minus 1.4, that is minus 0.4, or you can say per question you will lose 0.08 marks per question you lose statistically. Okay, but to be honest, statistics does not work, right? These statistics works when the data size is very large. If you had, let us say, 1,000 questions, then it makes sense because in 1,000 the normal distribution will be way better. Since there are only 75 questions, the probability, this thing is not it will not work, right? So some people think that statistically they will get like they have chances of getting lesser score, so let us try to attempt more. Don't do that, because it's like you will be applying some thought process and then attempting the question. And plus this normal distribution does not work. So if you are skipping 30 questions, it is not necessary that out of 30 you will get 6 or 7 correct. हो सकता है आपके 2 ही correct हो, 28 still wrong. Okay, then you will end up losing those marks. But it can also be possible that out of 30 you get 10 correct, okay, and that you will get more marks. So take it judiciously, do not over attempt, right? Try to attempt in a proper manner. If you genuinely know the answers, then attempt it. I will create a video on time management also during XAT, that how much time to allot to each of the sections, so that you can comfortably attempt a decent number of questions in order to be able to clear the cutoff for XLRI. So wish you all the best for XAT 2025. Please reach the center on time and carry the essential items. And we will be doing the analysis on 5th of January at 5 p.m. Once we are out of the examination hall, maybe around 5:15 p.m. We'll be doing the analysis, discussing the question, the difficulty level, what could be the expected cutoffs, etc. First cut analysis and question discussion at 9 p.m. Especially the quant section, I'll be attempting all the questions on quant and will give you the answers to those questions, plus some questions on like other sections as well. If you remember, we'll discuss those. In case you are preparing for GDPI and are looking to enroll in some program, you can check our program. And we have started our GDPI program. We started with daily what tasks. Some of the students have been getting calls, and they need assistance with form filling, SOP review, etc. So if you are into that phase, and let's say if you get XAT, a decent score in XAT, and then you wish to prepare for GDPI, this is the right time to start your preparation. Okay, so in this we offer two options, like you can choose 3 PI or you can choose 8 PI. That will be taken by alums of different B schools, top B schools, and there will be personalized mentorship. You will be guided how to fill the forms, your SOPs will be reviewed, right? We will make corrections to those, right? And then there will be some recorded classes plus live classes, guesstimate, case studies, etc. So if you wish to enroll in it, please fill the Google form. Our team will revert to you about the details of the program. So all the best for XAT, and we will discuss after XAT what happened in the examination. So again, an advice that do not over attempt the examination. Please attempt judiciously. Give ample time to all the sections and try to maximize your score in the strongest section, and do not go with any score versus percentile in your mind, that for 70 percentile I need these many marks, for 80 percentile. That will all depend on the difficulty level of the paper. So just try to give your best in the examination, and leave it for the rest, that what score you will get on the day of the examination.